Hello there everybody, it's wee Paddy from across the shock. Now, if you were on my wee live chat on Sunday night, um, I said I was going to do some videos on my traditional knives. So this is the start of them. And this is 10 of my traditional, more authentic knives, more authentic traditional knives. In fact, they're patterns that have been around for years upon years. Now, I also collect modern traditional, well, it's just a slip joint, it's modern slip joints. It's probably better be known. So I'll also do 10 of my modern favourites. But this is my sort of classical favourites that I've got in my collection. And at the very end, the third video I'll do will be bits and pieces of just knives that are purely slip joints and just handy little knives. So a lot of people are frightened of slip joints due to the fact that they think they're going to close on them, and people have had horrendous accidents with all sorts of knives. If you're a knife person and to not look into it, even just traditional knives, I think you're missing an awful lot. I know I was, and this last year I've really sort of gone to town on slip knives. One, because I live in the UK, but that really isn't the reason. It's because I love the different patterns. And even as you look down now, look at the different colours, the handle, the different shapes, the handle materials. It just looks interesting when I look down. Sometimes I get a bit tired of looking at titanium and all its variety of colours or just shapes. So these are when I want to get some knives out to footer with. This is the knives I get out and footer with, because there's that ability to touch and feel something that's not just shiny and metal. There is a bit of bone and things like that, and wood just have that feeling that's really nice. So I'm not going to make this a big long drawn out thing. I'm just going to go through and let you see that of this there's a lot of different varieties here, and I'm sure there's one in there. If you haven't got any slip joints, I'm sure there's one of these that would appeal to you, and I think it's worth trying and seeing if you do like it. So I'm going to start over here. Here's an old traditional buck knife, just a wood covers on her there, and she's the three-bladed Stockman. So your main blade is going to be like an elongated clip blade there. Really useful blade. Now, when you hold these are really good. I know it's a small knife, but you can get that so that it can't close on you. So it gives you a lot of confidence when you're cutting. Because the springs on these are not particularly tight. So you'll get your clip blade, you'll also get like a sheep's foot type blade. Isn't that a handy thing? And the Stockman was used by stockmen, believe it or not, and the spay blade for cutting the funny things off bulls. Castrating, that's what that was for, that blade, so you can get in and not cut at the bottom here. But it's so useful today if you wanted to do a bit of skinning. If you were out and you got a hamster, you could skin it quite happily with this. But this is just, they come in all different sizes. This is a small Stockman. And with three blades, you're hardly likely in a day's work as a secondary blade, you're hardly likely to run out of cutting tools when you've got three there. And this is just a wee secondary knife that you would carry in your pocket, whether in a pouch or just in your drop it in the pocket. This one to me would be a pocket dropper. Now, the next one is a case knife, and we've all heard of case, and we all heard of cases when we were younger. And this is the Trapper model, which again has a long clip, and I really like the way case bring their choil up here, so you can really get your finger in there and feel safe when you're doing some cutting. But it's yeah, it is a clip, isn't it? But it's nearly an upward turn at the end. But a lovely knife. And this also has the spay blade, but a much bigger one and a much more useful spay blade. This is a great knife. You see, even cardboard boxes, this is like a hollow grind on this case, and the scales on it are like a synthetic plastic, so they're never going to change, they're never going to deteriorate. Beautiful nickel silver bolsters. Absolutely love the little case logo on there. Beautiful. And now we'll move on to a German knife. And Germany has been making knives. This is the Boker Tree brand. They've been making knives for years. And this is Grenadil wood. Grenadil, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but Grenadil wood. It has the lovely little Boker Tree emblem on there. And the Grenadil wood has, it's quite hard to see. Let me see if I can get this in. You can pick it up there. It is wood, and it's like a dark brown and black that mixes in together. And it has got a lovely feel and pattern to it. It's well smoothed down. I have stroked this quite a lot. And you have the long bolster that all Barlows are famous for. And the reason that I've been told, which I found really interesting, this was made because this was the everyday man's knife. This was a cheap knife. This was the knife they made of the lesser materials at the time, going back to Sheffield, England. This is what they made, and the reason they had a long bolster was to add strength to it, because the metal and the wood they used wasn't great. So they put these long bolsters to give it a bit of strength so that it wouldn't break so easily. Now, if that's not the right reason, please let me know. I'm always interested to know. But there's a lovely clip point. Just a traditional, straightforward clip point that can do any task, piercing, cutting, slicing, whittling, whatever you want to do, this will do it. One of my favourites is just the single-bladed traditional knife. Love it. Again, that's quite small. But I like these because I like the smaller versions because I use them mostly as a secondary blade. And now we're getting on to some of the more expensive ones. And this is the GEC, which are really making some beautiful traditional patterns now in a style. This is the elderberry jig bone and the spear blade. Lovely, lovely spear blade. This is 1095 steel. Sorry, that was 440C on the Boker, and the case is their true sharp. So this is a lovely big spear. It's beautiful. It fills the hands. I can get all 4 fingers. I have medium large hands. I get all 4 around it. This is what I use to eat my steaks with. As you can see in the pattern at the end here. That's where I cut my steaks. I just love this knife. It's lovely and slim in the pocket. I put this in a slip when it's getting in my pocket because that elderberry jig bone, I really don't want to get it scratched up with coins or anything. So I put it in a little leather slip and carry it with me. And this can do as a main blade or a secondary blade. And to be honest, a lot of the times I'll pair it with a little peanut if I'm going out. And that will do me as a main and a secondary. Now, the next one on the list is another GEC. They're both Tyriot brands. GEC do a couple of different ones. These are the more reasonably priced, shall we say. It also has a beautiful big clip blade with a lovely swedge on top here. It is a worker. A beautiful, beautiful blade. Love that shape. That really doesn't. And this is, I'm looking down here, it's the gunstock pattern, but it's the golden rod jigged bone. Isn't that just beautiful? It's nearly like a morning, just, sunrise. A beautiful colour. Absolutely beautiful. And the jigging on it is absolutely stunning. To feel, this is a knife that I would quite often pull out at night time when I'm watching TV and just sit. And the nickel silver bolsters on her just really make it pop and stand out. But a beautiful knife. It also has a great big pen knife. Isn't that just a great pen knife? What a great size. That can get as much work done as you possibly can. This is a new pattern for GEC this year, or last year, was it? Last year maybe? But it is. It's just a beautiful knife and a real good workmate. And this is 1095. They're both, the GECs are both 1095 carbon steel. So they will rust if you don't take care of them. Likewise, this is C70 carbon steel, and this is another one that's made by A. Wright and Sons in Sheffield. And this is a true worker. This is the pruner. But look at that big solid wooden handle. I'm sorry, I don't know what the wood is in that handle. I never checked. But this is a knife. If you want to tear into something, talk about a tactical knife. This will rip you to shreds. But it's great if you want to prune in or, whatever you want to do. It just works. It's a great knife for opening boxes because that poker gets in there and it'll rip any box open. It's a great slicer because it's slim, full flat ground. There's next to nothing to it. It just slips through anything. A really, really handy old-fashioned type of a knife with that sway back, which is great for mushroom picking, pruning your branches, anything. It can be used it's a great gardener's knife. So it's a work knife, that's what it is. And I mean, I don't particularly use this because I haven't got a garden, I live in an apartment block, but I just love the shape, the feel, the look of it. I think it is really beautiful. And that's what a lot of these knives are. They're beautiful. And I collect them. Maybe there's quite a few I don't use a lot. Now, my GECs I use very often, the Boker, the case. But a lot of these other ones I get for the patterns because I just love collecting the different patterns. And I think with these 10 knives, that's what I wanted to show was the different type of patterns and blade shapes. Here's probably one of the most famous shapes is the Canoe Pattern. And you can see very easily why it's called the Canoe Pattern. It's shaped like a wee canoe, and it's pinch bolsters, nickel silver, and they're like a satiny type. But this is a Rough Rider. This is your budget variety, and this is in carbon steel. This one, in particular, it's an absolute. Now, what would you call that? A spear point or a drop point? I don't know. You could call it either. Probably a drop point or a spear point. They're both the same. They both. Is that a pen knife or a drop point? But let me tell you, you have two good working blades there. There's no half stops in that one in particular, and it's got G10 on the handle, so a real good working knife. It goes across my palm, so what's that, about 3.5 inches, my palm? About 3.5 inches. Look, why don't I just put it down here? It is 3.5 inches. And that's a Canoe Pattern, one of the old famous pattern of knives. And now let's go down here to my smallest little one. And this is the Peanut. We've all heard of peanuts. We've all seen peanuts. As children, probably a lot of us had them as our first knives. Little Peanut, but again, the way that they're made, they're pretty safe. They're not going to stick into you. This wee knife is just an amazing wee knife. It's amazing the amount of work this little knife can do. Again, no half stops, just a little pen blade and a clip point. But I have used this and cut myself badly with this more than any other knife. But it's a razor sharp wee knife, and I forget sometimes because it's so tiny. You just sort of forget that it is a real knife and it works. And it's a great secondary knife to throw in your pocket. You don't feel it. The next one I bought. Now that's white bone on that, genuine white bone. Sorry, that was G10. These last four are Rough Riders. This one I bought because of the bone. Look at that brown. That's brown stag bone. Isn't that just gorgeous? Look at that. Really beautiful knife. And this is a cotton sampler. This is the little tiny cotton sampler. The blade, the cutting length in the blade's only about 1.5 inches. But this is where the men were testing the cotton and used to pull it across here, and they could work it to see whether it was ready for picking or good cotton. So I'm led to believe just a bit before my time. Isn't that gorgeous though? And it sharpens, and it's a really good, like the Peanut, a secondary knife to go with one of your other knives. I mean, look at them two together. How pretty is that? How pretty is that to carry? I mean, I know titanium knives have their use and they're light and whatever, and these are maybe a bit heavier, but how pretty is that to carry with you? And that's why I think if you haven't tried it, it's really worth giving it a go, and you'll get used to the non-locking blade. They're not any more dangerous than any other blade if you use them right. Dead simple. So, the last but not least is another Rough Rider. And look at these bolsters on these. These Rough Riders are all under £20, all under £15, most of them. And in America, they're even cheaper. So a lot of these are just $10, $12, but they're perfectly well made knives. They're made with a razor sharp steel, most of them that's carbon. These last three they're razor sharp, isn't it? I think that's what they call it. Yes, razor sharp, 440 razor sharp. I have tested this on my channel. If you want to go back and see, I've done it with a large trapper and got great results. Beautiful. Look at that there, frosted. Now, a lot of people don't like that, but I think that's just beautiful. Is that a drop pointer? I would say that's a drop point rather than a spear. But it's beautifully done. Lovely swedges at the top there. All their pulls are all the match strike pulls, which goes back to years when they would have struck their matches on them. But a beautiful, look at that buckshot on white bone. Just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. And you got the Rough Rider logo. But look how well that is done. And that is holes and dents and indentation. So the feeling on this is just gorgeous, but a really good workable blade. And the teardrop blade is very, very comfortable in the hand. Very comfortable. So that was just a quick insight. I hope you enjoyed that little look at my traditional knives. If anything, just have a look there and the colour and the shapes and the different blades. It's so different than our modern knives now because there was character to them all. They were invented for work and for different types of work. And I think that's what makes them interesting because you can go in and follow up on them and see who invented them, what they were used for. It's just another part of the knife collecting hobby that I think if you don't give it a go, you'll be sorry. You know, I really do think you're missing out on a great part of knife collecting. And you can get them from any price as well. They're not normally as dear as our modern knives, but they can be. You can get custom made ones. I have custom made, and I'll show that in my next one. And I've put them into a more modern because of the materials they're using now compared to some of these. So we'll see them in the next collection, which will be my modern traditionals. Hope you enjoyed that. I've enjoyed showing you them, and just to see that out in front of me, I think that's a beautiful picture. So look forward to the next one, and probably do it next week, and we'll split it up a wee bit, do it over 3 weeks. Take care. Paddy's away for a wee cup of tea. Bye bye now. Bye.